Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to challenge you. I want to stir something inside of you. I want to wake up that sleeping giant within you. Because the truth is this, if you do not own your life will own you. Every single one of us was born with gifts, with potential, with greatness. But too often we allow fear, procrastination, doubt, and the opinions of other people to dictate our lives. Instead of being the driver, we become the passenger. Instead of writing our story, we let others hold the pen. And then we wonder why we feel frustrated, why we feel stuck, why every day seems like a replay of the last. But I came here to tell you, your life is yours, and it's time to take it back. The danger of living on autopilot. Let me ask you something. How many of you have ever gotten in your car, started driving, and before you know it, you're at your destination, but you don't even remember the turns you took to get there? You were on autopilot. That's how many people live their entire lives. Wake up, go to work, pay the bills, watch TV, scroll the phone, go to sleep. Wake up, repeat, wake up, repeat. And while they're busy being busy, their dreams are collecting dust. Their talents are being buried. Their lives are slowly slipping away. I need you to understand something. If you do not design your life, someone else will design it for you. If you do not define your future, your past will define it for you. And if you do not own your life, it will own you. And it will keep you locked in a prison of routine, fear, and regret. The power of decision. Now, here's the truth. At any moment, you can make a decision to take ownership. One decision can change everything. I remember hearing a story of a man who was drowning in debt, overweight, depressed, and ready to give up. And one day, he looked in the mirror and said, "This is not how my story ends." That was the day he made a decision to take back his life. He started exercising, reading, changing his habits. And little by little, his life began to transform. He didn't wait for the perfect time. He didn't wait for the economy to change. He didn't wait for the approval of others. He decided. And that's what I want for you. A decision. A radical decision to say, enough is enough. I will own my life. I will own my dreams. I will own my future. Stop renting. Start owning. You see, too many people are just renting their lives. They're temporary tenants in their own destiny. They rent their health to junk food. They rent their peace of mind to negative people. They rent their dreams to fear. But ownership means responsibility. Ownership means accountability. Ownership means you stop blaming your past, your parents, your boss, your environment, and you start asking, what can I do right now to create the life I deserve? Listen, nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody is coming with a magic wand to erase your struggles. If you want to change, if you want to grow, if you want to live the life you were designed to live, you must own it. Facing the fear, let's be honest. One of the biggest reasons people don't own their lives is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. But here's the reality. Fear is nothing but a bully. And bullies only have power when you run from them. When you stand up, when you face that fear, when you look it in the eye and say, you will not control me, something shifts. Do you know what fear really is? False evidence appearing real. Fear paints illusions that paralyze us, but ownership shatters those illusions. So I dare you, do the thing you're afraid to do. Make the call, write the book, start the business, take the leap, because once you face fear, you discover it was never as big as you thought it was. The discipline of ownership, but let me be clear, owning your life is not a one-time decision. It's a daily discipline. Every day, you've got to own your thoughts, own your habits, own your associations, own your time, own your energy, because the world is full of distractions, notifications, gossip, drama, negativity. If you don't control your focus will control you. If you don't control your time, other people will waste it for you. Successful people don't have more hours in the day. They just own their hours. They treat time like the priceless currency it is. Because once it's gone, you don't get it back. So ask yourself daily, am I spending my time owning my life? Or am I letting life own me? Refuse to live in regret one day. All of us will take our final breath. And when that day comes, the question will not be how much money you made, how many likes you got, or how comfortable you were. The question will be, did you live fully? Did you give your best? Did you own your life? I don't want you to leave this world full of regrets. Regrets of dreams you never chased, words you never spoke, potential you never tapped into. Don't let the cemetery be the wealthiest place on earth, because it's filled with unfulfilled dreams, unwritten books, unlived lives. Own your life while you still can. The reward of ownership, when you own your life, you walk differently. You talk differently. You carry yourself with purpose. People can feel it. Opportunities start chasing you instead of you chasing them. Doors open that you never even knew existed. And most importantly, you experience freedom. Freedom to live on your terms. Freedom to be authentic. Freedom to rise each morning with excitement instead of dread. Ownership doesn't mean life will be easy. It means even when it's hard, you know you're in control. Even when storms come, you know you're the captain of your ship. Even when you stumble, you know you can get back up. That's real power. That's real success. Own it, no go. So my message to you today is simple. Own your life before it owns you. Stop waiting for tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. They will never exist. Stop waiting for approval. You already have permission. Stand tall. Take responsibility today, right here, right now, that you will no longer be a prisoner of fear, excuses, or routine. Decide that you will own your dreams, your future, your destiny. Because when you own your life, you don't just live. You live fully. You live boldly. You live with no apologies and no regrets. And when people look at you, they will see someone who refused to be owned by life, but instead took ownership of life itself. So I leave you with this challenge: own your life. Because if you don't, it will own you. Decide today or regret tomorrow. Those words carry a weight that too many people only realize when it's already too late. The truth is, every single one of us has two choices in life: to step forward into growth or to step back into safety. But safety is deceptive. Safety feels comfortable, but comfort is the silent killer of dreams. Comfort whispers, you can do it later. You have time. Tomorrow is another day. But the harsh reality is tomorrow is never guaranteed, and every day you delay is a day lost forever. The graveyards of the world are filled with people who thought they had more time. People who thought they could wait until conditions were perfect. People who believed that one day, somehow, some way, things would fall into place without them making a decision. And because of that hesitation, their dreams never saw the light of day. When you decide today, you step into ownership. Decision is the birthplace of change, the spark that ignites action, the line in the sand where you declare, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, and this is where I'm going. Nothing changes until you decide. You can talk about your goals, you can write them down, you can pray about them, meditate on them, wish for them, but until you make the firm, unwavering decision to act, nothing in your life will shift. Decision is the seed, and without planting the seed, you cannot reap the harvest. Think about the moments in your life that shaped you. They all began with a choice. The choice to continue or to quit. The choice to fight or to surrender. The choice to take a risk or to stay safe. Your destiny is not written in stone. It is carved out by decisions. The quality of your life right now is a direct reflection of the decisions you made yesterday. And the quality of your future will be shaped by the decisions you make today. That's why deciding today matters more than anything. Regret is one of the heaviest burdens a human being can carry. Regret whispers at night, you could have, you should have, you would have. Regret doesn't just visit you once. It stays with you, follows you, haunts you. You can shake off failure because failure is feedback. Failure teaches you. Failure grows you. But regret leaves nothing but emptiness because you never gave yourself the chance to even try. And the cruel thing about regret is that it's permanent. You can recover from a wrong decision, but you can never recover from the decision you never made. Too many people wait for the perfect time to start. They say, I'll decide when the kids are grown, when the bills are paid, when the economy gets better, when I feel ready. But you will never feel completely ready. There will always be a reason to wait, always an excuse to postpone, always a distraction pulling at your attention. The perfect time is a myth. The only perfect time is the moment you choose to decide. Every day you hesitate, life is moving forward without you. Opportunities are passing by, doors are closing, moments are slipping through your fingers. One day you will wake up, look in the mirror, and realize you traded possibility for procrastination. You traded your future for comfort. You traded your potential for hesitation. And the pain of that realization will cut deeper than any failure ever could. Deciding today is about courage. Courage to step into the unknown, courage to risk failing, courage to face criticism, courage to trust yourself. People who own their lives are not fearless. They simply decide that their vision is more powerful than their fear. They decide that the pain of discipline is lighter than the pain of regret. They decide that one leap today is worth more than 1,000 tomorrows. Every great story began with someone making a decision in the present moment. A decision to believe, a decision to act, a decision to start. The people you admire, the people you look up to, the people you call successful, they are not different from you. They simply chose to decide today instead of postponing for tomorrow. They understood that hesitation steals opportunities, but decision creates them. So when you hear the words, decide today or regret tomorrow, let them sink into your soul. Because your life is happening now. Your dreams are waiting now. Your potential is calling now. Tomorrow is a promise no one can guarantee. The power to shape your future rests in the decision you make today. And if you fail to decide, that failure will become the regret you carry forever. If you don't write your story, someone else will. Life is like a book, and every day is a page. Some people wake up and take the pen in their hands, determined to write their own chapters. They choose the characters, the plot, the direction. Others leave the pen on the table and let circumstances, society, and other people write their story for them. When that happens, they become characters instead of authors, spectators instead of creators. And then they wonder why their lives don't feel like their own, why they feel trapped in routines they never chose, why they are living a script that doesn't excite them. From the time you were born, people began writing for you. Teachers, parents, friends, media, culture. They all had opinions about who you should be, what you should do, how you should think. Some of those influences helped you, but many of them boxed you in, limiting what you believed was possible. Without realizing it, you started playing roles in other people's stories instead of creating your own. You went to school because it was expected. You took jobs because it was safe. You made choices not because they aligned with your vision, but because they fit into someone else's expectations. And while you were busy pleasing others, your story drifted further from the one you were meant to live. The danger of not writing your story is that life will assign you a script by default. The world has no shortage of scripts ready for you. Work until you're tired. Retire when you're old. Settle for average. Silence your dreams. That script doesn't ask what lights you up, what makes you come alive, what legacy you want to leave. It's a generic script, one size fits all. And if you don't pick up the pen, that's the one you'll live by. Writing your story requires courage. It means stepping outside the lines. It means refusing to be boxed in by titles, labels, and expectations. It means asking yourself, who do I want to be? What kind of life do I want to create? What impact do I want to leave behind? It means defining success on your terms instead of chasing someone else's definition. Most people never stop to ask those questions. They keep flipping pages, reading a story that doesn't inspire them instead of realizing they can rewrite it. Think about this. The greatest authors don't just write words, they create worlds. That's what you can do with your life. You can choose the setting, the characters, the conflicts, and the triumphs. You can decide to be the hero of your story instead of the victim. You can decide to turn setbacks into comebacks, to transform pain into power, to make your story one worth telling. But none of that happens until you claim authorship. When you don't write your story, you give power away. Power to bosses who tell you how far you can go. Power to critics who tell you what you can't do. Power to fear that tells you to stay small. But when you take the pen, you reclaim that power. You realize your life is not a rehearsal, it's a live performance. You only get one chance to write it the way you want. And yes, writing your own story means taking responsibility. You can no longer blame the past, the environment, or other people. It's on you. But that responsibility is freedom, because the moment you accept it, you realize you can change the plot at any time. You can flip the page and start a new chapter. You can reinvent yourself. You can write something bolder, greater, truer to who you really are. Imagine sitting at the end of your life, looking back at your story. Do you want to realize you lived someone else's script? Or do you want to see the pages filled with choices that were truly yours? Do you want to see chapters full of adventure, growth, love, purpose? Or do you want to see blank spaces where your dreams should have been? Every day, the pen is in your hand. You are writing, whether you realize it or not. The question is, are you writing your own story, or is someone else writing it for you? Because if you don't write it, someone else surely will. Fear is a liar. Face it or be ruled by it. Fear disguises itself as protection, as caution, as logic. But most of the time, it's nothing more than a thief. It robs people of opportunities, of courage, of growth. It whispers in your ear, telling you you're not ready, you're not worthy, you're not capable. It builds walls where there are no walls. It paints monsters in the shadows where nothing exists. And if you listen to it long enough, you begin to mistake its voice for truth. Fear doesn't always scream. Sometimes it's subtle. It's the hesitation before you speak up. It's the excuse you make for why you can't start yet. Yeah, it's the endless what if that paralyzes your decision making. Fear convinces you to stay comfortable, to avoid risk, to keep things as they are. But what fear never tells you is that comfort has a cost. That cost is your potential, your dreams, your destiny. Fear doesn't keep you safe. It keeps you small. The lie fear sells best is permanence. It tells you that if you fail, you'll never recover. That rejection will destroy you. That embarrassment will follow you forever. But failure is never final unless you quit. Rejection is never fatal unless you let it define you. Embarrassment fades the moment you decide to rise again. Fear magnifies the worst possible outcome, but it never reminds you of the best possible outcome, the victory, the growth, the freedom that comes when you move through it. There are two types of people in this world, those who are ruled by fear and those who rule over it. The ones ruled by fear live carefully measured lives, never venturing too far, never daring too boldly. They look safe on the outside, but inside, they are restless because they know they settled. The ones who face fear, on the other hand, are not without fear. They simply refuse to bow to it. They feel the same trembling, the same doubt, the same uncertainty, but they step forward anyway. And every time they do, fear loses its grip a little more. The secret about fear is that it shrinks in the light of action. The moment you confront it, the illusion shatters. Think about something you once dreaded. Maybe speaking in public, maybe starting a new job, maybe making a tough call. Beforehand, your mind spun endless scenarios of disaster. But once you actually did it, you realized it wasn't nearly as terrifying as you thought. Fear feeds on avoidance. The longer you avoid, the bigger it grows. The moment you face it, it starts to die. Fear often shows up strongest right before a breakthrough. That's because fear guards the doors to growth. Every new level of your life requires you to step through fear. Want to change careers? Fear will stand at the door. Want to build a business? Fear will question your every move. Want to follow your passion? Fear will remind you of every reason it could go wrong. But if you don't face it, you never pass through. You stay on the same level, repeating the same patterns, watching others live the life you desire. People who achieve greatness are not fearless. They are practiced at moving forward in spite of fear. They've trained themselves to recognize fear's voice and answer back with action. They know fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal, a sign that something important is on the other side. They've learned to see fear as a compass pointing them toward where they need to grow. The danger of being ruled by fear is that it becomes your master. It dictates what you can try, where you can go, who you can become. It locks you in a cage of hesitation and convinces you that cage is safety. But the truth is, that cage is nothing but regret in the making. The dreams you abandon because of fear don't disappear. They live inside you as restlessness, as dissatisfaction, as the haunting feeling that you were meant for more. Fear is a liar, and its power only lasts as long as you believe its lies. The moment you choose to face it, you expose it for what it is, an illusion, a shadow, a voice with no real authority over your life. And when you face it, you reclaim that authority. You stand taller, you move stronger, you rise freer. Fear will always exist, but it doesn't have to own you. You can either face it and lead your life, or you can bow to it and let it rule you. Time is your most expensive currency. Spend it wisely. Unlike money, once it's gone, you cannot earn it back. You cannot negotiate for more of it. You cannot borrow it, and you cannot store it away for later. Every second that passes is gone forever. That is what makes time more valuable than gold, more precious than diamonds, more costly than any possession you can ever own. Yet, most people treat their time as if it's unlimited. They waste it on distractions, on meaningless activities, on people who drain them instead of elevate them. They guard their wallets more tightly than their minutes, not realizing that money can return, but time never will. Every day you wake up, life deposits 24 hours into your account. The question is, how will you spend it? Some people invest it into growth, into learning, into building, into loving, into creating. Others squander it scrolling endlessly, gossiping, complaining, or living on autopilot. When you waste money, you can always find a way to make more. When you waste time, you are giving away pieces of your life you can never reclaim. What you are doing with your hours is either bringing you closer to your dreams or further from them. There is no neutral ground. Think about the reality that no one knows how much time they have left. Some people assume they will live to old age, so they put their dreams on hold, waiting for the right season, waiting for someday. But someday is a dangerous word because it does not exist on the calendar. Someday is an illusion that robs you of today. People say, I'll start when things settle down. I'll pursue it when I have more time. But time doesn't suddenly appear. You must create space for what matters most. Waiting for the right time is the fastest way to run out of time. If you want to know how someone values their life, look at how they spend their time. Do they spend it building or do they spend it drifting? Do they invest it in relationships that nourish them or do they pour it into toxic connections that drain them? Do they dedicate it to creating something meaningful or do they let it slip away in endless entertainment? Your priorities are revealed not by what you say, but by how you use your hours. If you claim something is important but never devote time to it, it is not truly important to you. Time is the true test of values. Discipline with time is not about being busy. It's about being intentional. Some people mistake business for productivity, running around all day, filling their calendars with tasks, yet achieving little of real importance. Productivity is not about how much you do, but how much of what you do truly matters. A single focused hour can accomplish more than 10 distracted ones. Owning your time means cutting away what doesn't serve your vision and dedicating yourself to what does. The people who accomplish extraordinary things in life do not have more hours in the day than anyone else. They simply refuse to waste theirs. They rise early. They prioritize. They say no to what doesn't align. They understand that every hour has a cost. And they spend those hours like an investor seeking the highest returns in growth, in impact, in legacy. That is how they multiply their influence while others wonder where their time has gone. One of the greatest regrets people voice at the end of life is not having lived in alignment with their true desires. They say they wish they had traveled more, written the book, pursued the career they love, spent more time with family. Rarely do they say they wish they had spent more time at the office or on social media. Why? Because in hindsight, it becomes clear that time wasted is life wasted. They realize too late that the things they postponed were the things that mattered most. The urgency of valuing time is not meant to create panic, but perspective. When you realize your time is limited, you stop tolerating what doesn't serve you. You stop saying yes to everything and start saying yes to the right things. You stop giving your hours to people and activities that subtract from your life and start giving them to what adds value. You begin to live with intention, to structure your days around your vision instead of drifting aimlessly. That awareness changes how you wake up, how you work, how you love, how you live. Time is life in its purest form. Every tick of the clock is a reminder that your story is being written, whether you're actively shaping it or not. The minutes slipping away are opportunities passing by. And while you cannot control how much time you are given, you can control how you spend what you have. To treat time casually is to treat life casually. To spend it wisely is to honor the gift of existence itself. Ownership is freedom. Excuses are slavery. The moment you take full responsibility for your life, something inside you shifts. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for luck. You stop waiting for circumstances to change. You recognize that while you cannot always control what happens to you, you can always control how you respond. That is where freedom begins. Responsibility is not a burden. It is the key that unlocks your power. Because when you accept responsibility, you are no longer a victim of your past, your environment, or other people. You reclaim the steering wheel of your life and begin to drive in the direction of your choosing. Excuses, on the other hand, are chains. Every time you make an excuse, you surrender control. You say, it's not my fault. It's because of them, because of this, because of that. And with those words, you hand over your power. Excuses might feel comforting in the moment because they relieve you of accountability, But in the long run, they trap you. They convince you that you are helpless, that you are stuck, that your dreams are beyond reach. Excuses are a prison built from your own words. And the more you use them, the stronger the walls become. Freedom does not mean life will be easy. It means you choose your path, even when it's hard. It means you own your mistakes, but you also own your victories. It means you look at setbacks not as reasons to quit, but as lessons to learn from. When you live this way, failure no longer defines you. It refines you. Each challenge becomes part of your growth, not a dead end. That perspective is only possible when you embrace ownership. Without it, every obstacle becomes another excuse, another justification for why you cannot move forward. Excuses often disguise themselves as reasons. People say, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I wasn't given the right opportunities. I don't know the right people. On the surface, these sound legitimate. But behind each one is the truth. Someone else has faced the same challenge, and instead of making an excuse, they found a way. The difference between success and stagnation is not resources, it's resourcefulness. When you own your life, you stop asking, why me? And you start asking, how can I? That single shift in mindset turns barriers into stepping stones. The cost of excuses is not just missed opportunities. It's your freedom. When you live in excuses, you are always at the mercy of something outside yourself. You are a slave to the economy, to your past, to your circumstances, to other people's opinions. You convince yourself that you cannot act until something changes, which means you are waiting for a rescue that will never come. Ownership frees you from that dependence. It says, no matter what happens around me, I will take responsibility for my response. I will find a way. I will create a way. That is the essence of freedom, knowing that your destiny is not dictated by chance, but by choice. Excuses also rob you of respect, both from others and from yourself. Deep down, you know when you are making them. Each time you excuse your lack of effort, you chip away at your own confidence. You begin to doubt yourself, not because you are incapable, but because you know you are not giving your best. Ownership rebuilds that confidence. When you face challenges head on, when you stop hiding behind explanations, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your fears and excuses. That self-respect becomes the foundation of resilience. There is a profound sense of liberation that comes with ownership. It allows you to stand tall, to walk boldly, to live unapologetically. You no longer waste time blaming, pointing fingers, or complaining, because you know none of those things change your reality. You pour that energy into action instead. You become proactive, not reactive. You stop waiting for the world to change and start changing yourself. And as you change, your world begins to shift. Excuses feel safe, but they keep you stuck. Ownership feels heavy at first, but it makes you free. When you own your choices, your habits, your results, you begin to realize how much control you actually have. You cannot always decide what happens, but you can always decide who you become in the process. And when you live from that truth, excuses lose their power and freedom becomes your way of life.